Hello and welcome to the last episode of my games in the 5th season of the Take the Initiative League. This is my 8th game and it will be the deciding game because right now my record is 5-2. So if I win this, I probably will be able to enter the topcut and hopefully compete with other great players in August. Alright, so this game I'm actually playing against a friend of mine, Adam, also a co-host from the Nordic Takedown podcast. And I'm still playing as Sabine. I hadn't made any changes to the list as of the recording of this game, but I have changed the list a little bit after that in testing, so I will go over those changes at the end of this video because it's a shorter video. But we will have some time to talk about what Adam played. And here we have it. I think he made some slight changes to the deck, but he played the Ray Red deck with Tarkin Town that got popularized by Thork. Although it was a mutual friend of ours, Dylan, who kind of came up with the idea of really utilizing discard effects to make force throw as best as possible. So, if you haven't seen anything about this deck, you have Force Throw, which is enabled by Yoda, Kanan, Obi-Wan, Luke, and Rey herself. And then you have both K2, Pillage, and Poe to have even more discard effects that can kind of actually make you able to empty your opponent's hand at sometimes, which can be very, very good. And then the rest of the deck is, I would say, just great units, to be honest. The cheaper units can really be utilized well with the buffs from Rey's activated ability. And then you have Poe, for instance, just being a great card, Luke as well. And I think we can just take a brief moment to see what cards will be very deciding in this specific matchup, because it's running a 25 health base, and that's something that's always very scary facing Green Sabine, because it's much easier getting the first 25 damage than the last 5, kind of, because as you get to higher resources, your opponent tends to stabilize, and especially with the leader deploy, and that's a very crucial thing, I think, in this matchup, and that is that Rey has Restore 3. That's really easy to underestimate, and I think that's a very important part of the matchup, is that when you play against Aggro, you really need to utilize Rey and make her survive. And of course other cards that can also heal you are great, such as Yoda and Kanan, so they are great to look out for. And then I would give a shout out to the Sentinels, Conquer Dawn, Interceptor, and Obi-Wan, also being pretty good cards when you're facing down Sabine. Yeah, I think we won't spend more time on the list. Check out Thork's Deck Tech or many other people who made videos about this type of deck, but we can just go into the game. So, we actually both rolled a 12 here, you don't see that often, but in the reroll I won the initiative. Probably go for a mulligan here, no to drop, but I would say initiative is always good. The question is, in some matchups you might want to ping first, so you can actually decide what lane you want to go in. Right now we only got a space unit, so we can just immediately play that card in space. And seeing Adam play a Sabine here is completely fine. And even if he had an A-wing, we could just attack into the A-wing first. I don't know if he would want to do that, because he could then use Tarkin Town to kind of take out the A-wing back, but I think we still would be forced to do that play. Yeah, here I decide to attack with the A-wing first and then play red free. So you could argue that I missed out on 1 damage there, but also I didn't give my opponent information of what I was going to play. I I guess our opponent could also play the Concordon Interceptor, the Sentinel. Okay, so here we're gonna see Force Throw coming out early. Pretty good value, paying 1 cost to essentially deal 3 damage. But we have 2 posts in hand, so it's not the worst to discard that card. And now with Adam only having 2 resources left, we can safely play the Darksaber. And Darksaber, I think, is a card you have to respect if you play Ray. I still don't know how popular it's gonna be, if it's just me that really likes it, or if it's gonna be a staple in Sabine. I've seen many people play Sabine without it, rather just doing the heroic resolve, for instance. But let's say it's very normal, then I think as Ray you really need to mulligan for Fang Fighters, or maybe keep them in your hand. So now we're gonna see another Force Throw actually, taking out the red 3, but that's, I would say, not bad at all for us, because now we can ECL pose, so Ray doesn't get to heal with Yoda. So I also decide to actually discard my last card here, just to deal 2 damage to Sabine, to clear out the board, and make sure that he can't get Sabine to, let's say, 5 or less HP, so it's in the takedown range. Because the only thing we need is 1 more attack. But takedown range doesn't matter when you have Rival's Fall. So Sabine's gonna die to that. And now we arrive at the very pivotal moment. We play K2, take the initiative, but our opponent of course can attack with Ray, and they decide to attack K2. So you could argue that's good because they want to get rid of our units at some point, but if they would have gone to base, we would not have been able to kill Ray. So now we can attack K2 into Ray, getting 1 overwhelm damage and then 3 more from the K2 death, and kind of putting our opponent in a pretty close range to lethal. Here you can see Pillage actually coming in handy, but we luckily resourced Cassian this turn, so that's just gonna win us the game, because we can attack with Cassian for 3 and then ping with Sabine. So I guess if Adam had just gone base with Ray, healed, and then got to heal 3 more this turn, and maybe played something else than the Pillage, could have been a different situation. But regardless, I think we had gotten a lot of damage in the early game and were in a very good situation to win. Yeah, so here I'm considering taking in a Chaos of War, it seems, and a 3rd Wrecker. That's actually one of the changes I've made after playing, is having 3 Wreckers in the main, because I feel like he's very good. And as you can see there, I took out a Fighters for Freedom, which is a card I've cut from the list to make some more space, because we already play a lot of 3 costs. So I decided to take in a U-Wing as well. And going into game 2, we have pretty decent opening hand here. I would say For a Cause might be good in this matchup, but if we get to a point where all of our units have died and we just need that reach, our opponent probably has some units on the board with Restore, so then For a Cause might not even be enough. But I think it's still a valid card. I did decide to resource it though, because I felt like having 2 options for a 3 cost is more valuable. Here you can see we kind of got a bad start with A-Wing being our only play, and when Adam also had an A-wing, he just got a really good trade there. But following it up with a Cassian is not too bad. But still not too happy seeing Yoda come out on the other side. So now we got a second for a cause. And here I just feel like I can't let Yoda live. First of all, restore is good, but second of all, you saw force throw get rid of 2 of our units pretty cheaply last turn. So being able to just remove those force units can be valuable if you know you're playing against a force throw deck. So Adam is on 4 resources here, so just decide to take out K2 first with Tarkin Town. Then we attack with Cassian, takes 3 damage back from the A-wing. And then I decide to deploy Sabine instead of pinging first. I think it was because I kind of wanted to try to keep initiative. And because Adam spent 2 removals killing Sabine, we got to keep initiative. So it worked out in the end. And here I'm just playing Poe on an empty board. So there's not that much Ray can do about that. Now we're gonna see that Fang Fighter come out. So it seems Adam kept it this game to respect the Darksaber, but luckily for us we didn't play Darksaber. Okay, so here we're just I think wondering if we did the turn or action order correctly, if I should have gotten a ping or something between there. Yeah, I don't know if we did it correctly, but I claimed and Adam did 2 damage to Poe with Daring Raid. I think Daring Raid is a surprisingly good card. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, a 1-cost card, that's 2 damage, but the fact that it's a 1-cost and it's so flexible when you can play it, I think that's kind of the great part of the card. And being able to take out things that are 3 power and 2 health, which are a lot of units, I would say. So here I'm considering whether or not to kill the Fang Fighter or just deal 2 damage to base, but I decided to do 2 to base and make Adam discard a card. And luckily for us, he drew really bad here. Had no ground units, just another pillage, and we just won the game. So I think first game we were both new to this matchup, so first game I think he didn't respect the Darksaber, and then the second game he just got bad draws and we took over the ground arena with the ECL on Yoda, which was really good. Okay, so then just some closing thoughts. First of all, we hopefully qualified. We'll see how well the other players play. In case you don't know already, the way the Take the Initiative League works is that you get 2 points for a win and 1 for a loss, and you get 1 point for playing in each of the 4 weeks in a season. So depending on how many points other players get, I might qualify or not to the top cut, which is a top 16 cut. But I think with a 60 record, we're gonna be able to do that. And as I promised, here is a little bit of an updated list. So the changes made is that I've added Wrecker and Heroic Resolve. So now there are 3 Wreckers and 1 Heroic Resolve. And I've also added another X-Wing. I felt like the Y-Wings in many situations didn't really do what I wanted them to. So right now I'm just playing 2 of each to test it out, but still have a lot of viable space units for turn 1. And to make space for those cards, I cut 1 Fighters for Freedom and 1 R2-D2. So I think R2-D2 is a card that kind of gained popularity in the later stages of the first set. And right now we have other great 1-cost cards like Heroic Resolve to kind of smooth out the curve. But I think I'm still trying one just to see how it feels. Yeah, that was it. I'm trying to think if there's anything more I should say. I've seen in the YouTube statistic that most of you guys aren't subscribed, so of course it would be great if you subscribe to support out the channel and keep me motivated making more videos. And I will be having a Palpatine game up soon. As I said in the game against Palpatine, I really love to play that deck. So I'm gonna have a interesting video where I play against a Cunning Boba. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you hopefully in the top cut. Bye bye.